Hello and welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name is Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching us today. We are coming to you from Interop 2010 in Las Vegas. Our guest today is Craig Thompson, who is with Aprius. How are you?
I'm very well, Rich. Yourself?
I am doing exceptionally well. It's day 3 and I feel like I just got here, full of energy.
Oh, good.
I believe that caffeine is an effective supplement for being on TV or video.
Absolutely. And especially in Vegas, you need a little bit of extra to keep you going.
Absolutely. So you're a relatively new company, right?
We are.
Can you tell me what segment of the market you play in, please?
Sure. We're developing an emerging technology that is designed to address a growing problem in the data center, the modern data center, related to I/O bottlenecks or I/O constraint coming out of a server. Most people refer to this area as IO Virtualization. It is an emerging area. Basic concept being apply the principles of virtualization to all of those network and storage connections that a server normally would use.
So I have a very busy data center and I am considering IO Virtualization. What are some of the benefits that I will get by going down that path?
Great question. There's a couple of things. First and foremost, a modern virtualized data center has a much different workload profile than data centers in the past. Virtual machines can now reside on any physical server anywhere in the data center, and that's resulted in very variable and peak workloads that can be moved around within the data center. The biggest problem has been that the underlying infrastructure that those servers utilize hasn't become dynamic in the same fashion. And so the technology is designed to really provide a much more dynamic underlying infrastructure. Two or three key advantages. One is that it leads to a much more efficient I/O infrastructure. Less cards, less cables, less switch ports required to provide a server with all of the traffic needs that it has at a given time. Second advantage is that the I/O load is then evenly matched to the virtual machine profile on a server at that particular time, and it's variable. And lastly, all of that can be automated and made dynamically provisionable. So it's really about matching the underlying infrastructure to a new class of virtualization.
Now, from a perspective of customers and what they're telling you, can you share with me what some companies have been saying about what you're doing?
Sure. You know, we've spent a lot of time speaking with end users. These are large data center architects and IT administrators. And we've heard the same problem statements over and over. They're just starting to adopt server virtualization, but they want to up the ante a little bit. They want to move from 10-to-1 consolidation to 20-to-1 to 30-to-1 consolidation. They want to be able to take advantages of all the mobility aspects of virtualization platform and be able to dynamically provision workloads on any physical server within the data center. They want to be able to virtualize traditionally resource-intensive applications like database and messaging systems. But by and large, all of that is a problem today because of I/O constraint within a given server. And technologies like ours aims to disaggregate the I/O from the server, pool it in a common resource pool, a common shared resource, and then allocate that I/O resource as virtual functions back out to the virtual machines via the most common connection in the data center, which is Ethernet.
So where you sit in the network, one would imagine that your sales channel would have to be server vendors such as the Dells and the HPs of the world.
Yeah. That's the most obvious go-to-market strategy for a technology like this. It is most people think of IO Virtualization as being an extension of the IO bus in a server itself. So it stands to reason that, a server vendor can take this technology, bundle it with a full rack of rack servers or blade servers, and offer a much more dynamic way of provisioning IO to that full rack of servers. I think that's the most obvious way that this technology is used. But you can also see it from the perspective of the storage OEM or the networking OEM, that we can provide a much more efficient on-ramp onto the network or the SAN. And it allows for the ability for a converged Ethernet network within the data center to not just carry 2 or 3 protocols, but to carry basically any IO protocol that a server may need over that converged fabric. So I think there's value propositions for all of the partners in the ecosystem.
So let's say I have a server and I have one of these servers that's virtualized 20 to 1, as we just mentioned, and I decide I want to work with some of your products and try them out. Do I plug a card in my server?
Yes. Yes. The first generation of IO virtualization systems required that a user place almost a separate IOV fabric, the most common being InfiniBand or native PCI Express, and they would place one of those cards in each server and go directly to an InfiniBand or PCI Express based appliance. Sure. The second generation of systems like ours utilizes common Ethernet. We tunnel PCI Express over a common Ethernet connection. So in our world, each server would have a single connection that is Ethernet. We tunnel PCI Express to our appliance, and rather than placing all of the I/O cards in each server, you would place them in our appliance. Today, that card in the server that's presenting PCI Express over Ethernet is an Aprius card. But in the future, we envisage that this technology is integrated into a common 10 gig Ethernet NIC.
I see. Okay, that would make a lot of sense, actually, right? Okay.
You can think of it then as more of an offload, just like iSCSI is an offload on Ethernet today. IO virtualization can be thought of as an offload on an Ethernet NIC.
Okay, and so my final question, we've got about 30, 45 seconds, is what can we expect next from your company? What's the direction that you're heading in?
Yeah, so this show has been great for us because we've been able to announce our technology, give a little bit more information about our approach, and we've announced the availability of a technology evaluation platform. This is a system that an OEM can take, test, develop around, and we'll spend much of the next 6 to 9 months working with server storage and networking OEMs to get this technology out into the marketplace. And hopefully this time next year we'll be talking about product through those OEM partners.
Fantastic. And in between, anytime you have some news, you're welcome to come visit us in our TMC newsroom in Norwalk, Connecticut.
Fantastic.
So yeah, we welcome you there, and thanks for coming on the program today.
Thanks very much, Rich. Appreciate it.
Great to meet you.